let us begin. And first of all, we'll give obeisances to each other because we've come together. And then the Guru with Om Gyan, and then to Mahaprabhu with Namo Mahavaranyaya. So most of us know these verses. So first of all to each other. Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha atitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Then Om Agyana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivas Adi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, a little brief, auspicious invocation, we can say. And we are here together, and perhaps today we can begin with Jivana Devi Dasi, or we can have Jivana think of her, what she's going to say, if you'd like a few minutes of preparation. But why we are thinking of Jivana too is that she was going to do a little homework about the Lord extending his hand down from the upper world to this world, to us. And so this eagerness is in our heart. We had the aperitif, the mouth waterer, that to get us a good appetite. And now let us hear what Jivana may have come up with.
Well, so we have our Saturday night Gurudev video, and we heard, I think what I was gonna do last time was read from the Mum prayer that Guru Maharaj wrote. But anyway, that's kind of long. So then on Saturday we heard this video from Srila Gurudev, and he was talking about the importance of Harinam and how we sometimes think, oh, why should I chant? I'm making so many offenses. I'm not getting anywhere, but we're actually chanting the Harinam for his pleasure, and he will help us clear the offenses. So I was thinking that is a really good example of how he's extending himself. And then someone asked, I think it was Siddhanti Maharaj who asked, he said, so if Harinam will clear all offensive, what about offenses that are committed to the devotees or even to your guru? And Srila Gurudev said that for those offenses, keep chanting the holy name will give you the feeling to ask them for forgiveness. So, and maybe Prabhu, if he has anything else to add for that, because that was a pretty astonishing video.
Sorry, I somehow missed who asked who.
What's that, say again?
You were saying maybe we should ask somebody. What was the name of the person? I missed.
Oh, Chinmoy Dev Prabhu, because he was there. In case I missed something, he might remember something more. But that was just a little snippet from that video.
So Chinmoy Dev, you've probably seen it more than once too, because you prepare those videos before they're public, as it were, at the Seva Ashram.
No, Jivana explained it very nicely.
And?
That the Harinam will give you the feeling to go to that Vaishnava or Sadhu or Guru and ask for forgiveness for your offense.
And
well, Gurudev, I think Gurudev was, because they were talking about committing offenses and how do we how are we going to continue to chant the holy name. And one of the things Gurudev said that struck me is that at this present time, we are going to chant the holy name with faith and honor. We have faith in the holy name that it's going to take away all the offenses, and honor. We're giving honor to the holy name. And then he said a little thing. He's like, not right now, affection. So maybe we're not capable right now of chanting with affection, but with faith and honor, that we can do. And then one day we will be perfect. So, Jai.
Jai. And?
Well, actually, we were talking with Vishaka about offenses, and it was kind of an interesting conversation. Is what are offenses? Like, a Vaishnava doesn't take offense, but you could still give offense to a Vaishnava. Then where is that? Who is taking that offense? Why is reaction coming if the Vaishnava is not taking any offense? So that might be a nice topic to discuss. Which
you are doing.
Well, I don't know if we came so much to a conclusion, but my feeling is that that since we're all relying on the mercy of the Lord, relying on the mercy of Guru, that these offenses, when we do commit offense, that we're stopping that mercy. That flow of mercy is halted when some offense is created. And depending on your level, your consciousness, more and more you can see greater and greater gradations in the type of offense. Like, I think we gave one example of like people putting prasadam in their microwave and reheating it. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, some people won't think twice about that, but someone as qualified as Madhusudana Maharaj will, what? That's offensive. So, to the degree of your realization, your spiritual realization, more and more you can see finer aspects of divinity in your daily life. And more you want to honor and respect those things that are coming from the Lord.
By the way, you didn't quite read my mind perfectly, because really I think, well, offensive to the Vaishnavas that were putting the prasadam into the microwave. And I did think of some of our senior Vaishnavas who would in fact do exactly that thing. I was, okay, not exactly in the offense category. I was actually surprised to see that how our sweet Vaishnavas are generally quite healthy, conscious about what they eat, and they believe in vitamin A, B, C, and all these things, which I've never seen any of them walking around my plate. But anyhow, they believe in all these things, and so they're very healthy. And then I've seen such Vaishnavas putting their things in the microwave, which microwave just seems so unnatural to me. So it's not a matter of offense, but it seems a little contradiction along the way.
Well, I think, doesn't Krishna talk about that? Or maybe, I'm not sure, in the Bhagavad Gita, not to reheat prasadam. I've heard that is considered taboo, kind of reheating prasadam.
Doesn't Krishna talk about that?
Well, maybe it's just sattvic. What's sattvic? When he's describing what types of foods are sattvic. And I think that maybe tama or something like that is food that's reheated. Paramananda would know.
If Paramananda will know.
Chinmoy, it's in your name. The answer is in your name. Prasadam is Chinmoy. It's fully transcendental. It cannot be touched, just like Sita. When that Brahman was lamenting so much that Sita was touched by Ravana, and Mahaprabhu wanted to prove that, but somehow it's some incredible lila. Actually, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He doesn't need to look for Shastric evidence, yet he did so. So he proved that no one can touch someone who is purely divine, transcendental, Chinmoy. No mundane energy can touch or affect or contaminate Chinmoy substance. And Sita is fully divine. So no Ravana could touch Sita, and hence the whole pastime, how she takes the shelter of Agni, and a mundane projection of Sita's form for these mundane pastimes in this mundane world is manifested, and that form Ramana touches, but it's not actual Sita. So Prasadam is like that, cannot be affected by anything mundane. So regardless, but about heating it over, really, Gurudev speaks about it, and he talks about the faith. Everything is based on faith. If you have perfect faith in Mahaprasad, you don't have to reheat it. And that famous story about the argument between, the Vaishnava, Western Vaishnava society, let's just say, and the Indian Puri temple head pujari, but he made a strong point by actually dropping Mahaprasad on the ground, not just on the floor, but actual ground on the street. And the dogs came and touched it, licked it or eat it. And then he said, can you honor this Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath? And everybody was hesitating. They're like, oh. But he, without hesitation, honored it. So that kind of faith is required. And this is what Mahaprabhu praises in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Remember that moment when Mahaprabhu comes and gives to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Mahaprasad, and he didn't complete his morning duties. And really, he was always like that. You have to go through this whole system of morning duties, then you honor prasadam, etc., etc. But when Mahaprabhu is giving, he haven't taken a bath yet, not chanted his Gayatri, didn't do anything whatsoever. Trust me, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was doing so many morning duties. We were put to shame, really, to our morning duties compared to his, following every spiritual injunction. And yet he's taking Mahaprasad. And Mahaprabhu is jumping in ecstasy, saying, oh, now my life is fulfilled. The goal of my life is fulfilled. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Somehow he obtained faith in Mahaprasad. He was so happy. So it's all about that. It's how we see it. It's the faith. So Gurudev would always say, it's the faith. Somebody is asking any kind of, that kind of little bit complex question. Gurudev says it all depends on one's faith, how you will see it. Like whatever we do, it will all depend on the mood, what kind of mood we're doing it. Right or wrong, we're not to judge, but if we're doing it in the proper mood of devotion, everything will be accepted by the Lord. And hence those shlokas, Svapadamula Bhajatah Priyasya, or Bhagavad Gita shloka, Apichet Suduracharo. Krishna explains it all in those verses. Yes, it is. But here is something, I was actually looking for another thing. On the subject of Vaishnava Aparat, there is a beautiful saying by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur from one of the Sajjana Toshini editions of his journal. Speech in the form of blaspheming sadhus is the source of great inauspiciousness. If one wants to attain devotion to Lord Hari, then he should make a vow like this. In this life, I will never blaspheme sadhus. Devotees are sadhus. By blaspheming them, again, I repeat that, all one's virtues are destroyed. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And really, it is. Sukriti cannot be touched in a way by a mere mistakes or some foolish things we do in our life. Cannot be destroyed. It's something really permanent that follows us. But it can be destroyed by the Vaishnava Aparat. Our progress will stop for infinite time. We'll be thrown back infinite years, infinite lives. So really, it's super important. Otherwise, why the sadhus are giving that warning? Also compared to a mad elephant. Someone may make a beautiful home, beautiful garden. You release a mad elephant there. Maybe Maharaj saw what mad elephants do in Bengal. Till this day, I'm hearing some news how a mad elephant would enter a village and create a massacre. Have you seen anything like that, Maharaj?
I have, not in Bengal.
All right. Well, you know, you're familiar with elephants in anyway. So yes, so the male elephant of Vaishnava apparat uproots the tree of devotion, uproots the bhakti lata, and it dies. It's a strong warning. I understand it's a strong warning, but there is a reason why it's so strong. Why such a radical statement? There is a reason for that. So that's from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, not just from me. And I think we should get acquainted with that part of our Guru Varga teaching, the danger of sadhu aparat, Vaishnava aparat. It's actually the first aparat of holy name, first offense of the holy name. Why it's first? Because it's utmost important.
And the Vaishnavas don't take offense, but Krishna is disturbed. It's the opposite of seva. Why is Krishna, I mean, one explanation of why Krishna is so soft-hearted to those who serve the devotees is because the devotees don't want anything in return for their service to Krishna. They're giving everything, including all their prospect and everything for Krishna, but they don't give any opportunity for Krishna to serve them. When he tries to do something for them, the devotees are always not accepting that. No, we don't want service from the Lord, but we want to serve to the Lord. And so when Krishna sees that that somebody is serving his devotee, then he's so happy, because he's thinking, this is Guru Maharaj's explanation, and one of the ways of seeing the importance of Vaishnava Seva. That is, Krishna sees this and he's thinking, oh, they are doing what I wish to do. So these devotees, those who are coming to serve my devotees, they're very dear to me. So that's on the positive side. And then if you see then the opposite side, oh, somebody is coming and they're trying to harm my devotees, or they're trying to diminish their position, offend them in some way or other, then the very opposite thing, that Krishna is very disturbed by that. And Krishna can give and Krishna can withdraw. So he's giving us the opportunity of service, but he can withdraw that. And one very, like, almost you can say, consistent viewpoint of Gurudev, when somebody would leave from devotional service, and especially if it is somebody who had been quite established, Gurudev immediately is kind of looking to see what offense did they make. Like, what have they done, is then trying to see. And sometimes Gurudev immediately recognizing, oh yes, they were offensive to the devotees or something like this, and then they've left from their Krishna consciousness. So Krishna can, even the faith by which we serve Krishna comes from Krishna. This also explained by Guru Maharaj. So everything is coming from the Lord, so we must be very careful to guard that faith. So yes, the hot or cold, reheating prasadam or not, that was a bit of a sideline, but of this theme of offense and what is offense and what is not offense. And again, it comes to also mentality. What a pure devotee may do, then and that may, because of the mentality, it's not taken as offense, but what somebody who's got some mentality, some wrong mentality towards another, they may be apparently behaving perfectly, but offense is there. And Guru Maharaj also pointed out about the verse which Paramananda can no doubt recite, about how in Kali Yuga it is overlooked that if one does bad karma in his mind and doesn't manifest it outwardly, then there's a verse which says in Kali Yuga that we will not get reaction for that as such. In previous age, if you think you're going to kill a man and you don't actually kill him, but you think it, I'm not sure if you get the full karma for killing him, but anyway, it's all related within the laws of nature. But in Kali Yuga, you can think about killing somebody, not a Vaishnava, let us say. And then this is within the category of pap, which means sin. And Gurudev pointed out, this is not mentioning in the verse about aparad, it's about pap. So we must be careful not to think anything wrong about a devotee, not to think any aparad, any offense to a devotee. It's not in the same category. And still on the theme there, the sub-theme of sin, we shouldn't also give that as an allowance, like so many, opportunities. We see, oh, here there's a loophole that, oh, I can think sin, I can think to do something bad, I can think this or the other. Because also what we think, then that turns into reality if we don't check ourselves. So we must be careful at every step to try to stay carefully guarding our devotional kripa, because that's the most valuable thing. This is why we've got a human birth, so we can plant the seed, grow the seed, and then make our life successful.
So I just wanted to add one thing that we hear from Guru Maharaj or Gurudev, and really sometime I cannot separate who said that, Gurudev or Guru Maharaj, because really they're saying the same thing. Yeah. So I stopped saying Guru Maharaj said that or Gurudev saying, we hear from them. And a very hopeful statement, how to nullify the reactions of the aparad, because sometimes we're not even realizing we committed the aparad because of natural foolishness, and yes, of course, swimming in the ocean of faults in Kali Yuga, previous karma, and so many other things. But they're saying, and they're quoting a verse, which I unfortunately don't remember, but I will find it. It is saying that if one commits a sadhu aparad or Vaishnava aparad, if he sincerely repents in his heart, it must be internal kind of feeling. So the reactions will be burned in the fire of repentance. So that is very hopeful. And it's actually connected to what we started from today, how Harinam will give that inspiration. Because what is the effect of Harinam? Purifying our heart. The first verse of Shikshashtakam describes everything. The effect is purifying. So then, oh my God, what did I do? So that sincere repentance will burn the reactions. It is also quite important to understand. It's not just going there and apologize, but you still have a grudge inside. You haven't apologized properly. External apology doesn't mean anything, actually. Something. But really, if you don't have it internally in your heart, you're sincerely repenting, you're so sorry that you did it, then it has no value. So it has to be a combination of both. And of course, go and apologize, but sincerely so.
Jai, yes, thank you, Jeevana, for getting us to think about these very important matters. And that now on this subject, or about this subject, also we don't want to be living in fear all the time. And then, oh, I'm going to stay away from the Vaishnavas because I'm afraid of offending them, etc. Because what is the theme throughout all of the books is affection, love, forgiveness. I mean, all of these things, which are the very positive qualities that really we appreciate in others. And guess what? The Krishna's land is full of positive qualities. And so it's full of affection and sweetness, personal dealings, forgiveness, and all these kind of things. If somebody does something by accident that's wrong, then what to do? And then nobody's doing anything on purpose that's wrong. But many things may take place, misunderstandings. I mean, misunderstandings are easy to make. And I mean, somebody may think that someone thinks it's offensive to put the prasadam in the microwave, and you think somebody else is thinking that's offensive. I mean, it's just a simple example of how we don't necessarily know what's happening. And when we are in the association of the devotees, then because nobody's consciously making offense to others, and it's a very sweet atmosphere. So that's Goloka Vrindavan. There's no question of offense to the devotees. But if we think about Vaikuntha also, then we recently, seems to be recently, then we had Nrsimha Chaturasi, and we had all the pastimes of the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha being hurled down to the material world. Why? For apparent offense to the, well, in that case, Brahmas, but Vaishnavas. They're Vaishnavas. They're coming to Vishnu, means to the 4 Kumars. And so they were hurled down to the material world. So here we see, the pastimes of the Lord manifesting in various ways. But love and affection and sweetness, not fear. But still, we want to have some caution. I mean, hopefully, when you're driving the car, you're not living always in fear of the police and everything, that, I'm breaking the rules and I'm in fear, like driving in paranoia all the time. Otherwise, nobody would drive. But you are aware that, okay, if I do wrong, then I'm likely to be caught and something's going to happen. So it's kind of an automatic restriction. And as Guru Maharaj says, that in the fully free world, there's no need for so many restrictions because nobody's doing anything wrong. So why have this law and write this law down and that law down? But it's in our world where we don't know what's right and wrong, where we need the restrictions. Hare Krishna. So the land of love and beauty, sweetness, charm. I mean, this also, really, this is the stressed side. And the caution side is we're in this world and we've got to be careful about our dealings with everything. And one of our dealings is not to judge others, whether material or whether like apparently a completely mundane person, politicians, etc. We don't enter into all of that, because even there, then it's assuming that, oh, I know, I'm better than them. I know what's right and what's wrong. So we're not to judge others. And in the section of Srimad Bhagavatam, where there is Narada Muni, I believe, and then the sadhu who took on the occupation of a python. And then he's lying on the ground and he's seeing the world in quite a different perspective. And there, Narada Muni is asking him, oh, dear sage, you've taken on this life of a python, which basically we learn about pythons while we were reading Srimad Bhagavatam, that they essentially wait for food to come to them instead of going searching for food. They more or less, they lie down and wait for the food to come to them. Oh, okay, Krishna sent me some food. I'll eat it. Thank you very much. And so anyway, he took on the life of a python. And then Narada Muni is asking him some questions about, oh, dear sage, tell me, why are you like this? And then he's explaining the, you could say, realizations, if you like. And one of them was to be equal to everybody, whether they abuse you or whether they praise you or anything in the world, that you're equal to everybody, apparently good or bad. And you see with a detached vision, all of them. So you're detached from good and bad of this world, but you be their well-wisher. You're the well-wisher for the criminal as well as for the perfect person, whatever you like to say, the non-criminal. You're their well-wisher, but well-wisher for what? For them, their spiritual life, not about their material duties. So you're aloof from good and bad, but you're the well-wisher for everyone. And so we get lessons everywhere, well, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, but we are getting lessons about how we need to also be somewhat aloof in this world from judgment. It's because it's so dangerous. And then to come to judge the Vaishnavas, very dangerous. And then in the mind, we get feelings which are maybe not good. And then we start to enter again into that dark realm, the dangerous realm. But it is Guru Maharaj who said too, that it's not so easy. What is Vaishnava aparat? Not so easy to commit Vaishnava aparat. And normally, Guru Maharaj explained it. What we see is the conflict of the what is remaining of the modes of nature, the mundane nature in each of the Vaishnavas. That is clashing. So again, that's not to find a loophole so we can go and blast another Vaishnava, but it's a way for us to see in our independent view what's taking place. And in the chat box, I see we've got something. First of all, Dana, thank you, Hare Krishna. Yes, very welcome to all of you indeed. So Praneshri, she's quoted from Jagadananda Pandit's Prema Vivata, which is a wonderful book, by the way. The only book that we know about, as far as I know, written by Jagadananda Pandit, who was Mahaprabhu's close associate for all his time. So, what's the quote? After surrendering at initiation, you still may sometimes commit offenses in worship, and such offenses will obstruct your practice of devotion. But if you take shelter of the name of Krishna in the association of the sadhus, the name's shelter will destroy all such offenses. Yes, and many departments of offense, because we hear there's Nama Aparad and Seva Aparad and Dhamma Aparad, etc. But all of these, the Vaishnava Aparad category is serious, the serious most, whatever the right, most serious. And affectionate guidance, Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. So Praneshri, please read for us. You found these beautiful quotes. Yes, so this is very...
If we listen from you, it will come through the ear to the heart. So please, Maharaj.
Well, here's one I can say from the heart. You are not a drain inspector, because we've heard that, and that's kind of such a good example for us. So here's Gurudev saying, Gurudev is saying, Srila Guru Maharaj used the expression, you are not a drain inspector. He would explain, you are a searcher of Krishna consciousness. Your position is not that of a drain inspector. An ant searches for a hole to use for his own purpose. Without searching for any holes, see only the good qualities of the Vaishnavas and follow that. Thank you very much, Praneshwari, for bringing out this excerpt. Because this is very much the theme of Guru Maharaj of Gurudev, as Paramananda pointed out. Sometimes it's a very blurred line. Did I hear it from Guru Maharaj or Gurudev? Because it is one and the same message. But this theme, we are searching for something wonderful, and maybe in this similar place, but elsewhere, certainly, Guru Maharaj is explaining that we have a whole beautiful temple of marble and decorations and wonderful, and the deities are there. But out of all of this, which is so obviously wonderful, the ant is looking for a little hole somewhere where it can go inside. So this is our Krishna consciousness. We have a whole beautiful, wonderful temple that's been given to us by the Lord himself as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his eternal associates, Rupa Goswami, etc., and through our parampara. then we've got this pure, wonderful temple. And then we are not to look for holes there of seeing anything wrong with anything to do with the temple, means the residents, the participants, and everything. And Seva Devidasi has given us a quote or a question.
A quote, Maharaj, a beautiful one.
A quote, and the quote is from Shri Upadesh Amrita. Okay, and the quote is, "Do not consider devotees in this world to be mundane as a result of observing faults produced by their nature or in their body. The water of the Ganges never loses its nature as liquid spirit, because it never loses that nature of liquid spirit because of bubbles, foam, and mud, all of which are natural in water." Thank you, Seva Rupa Devidasi, which brings us on to Upadesh Amrita, which you have all been reading, verses 1 to 8, every day this week. And I have been reading verses 1 to 8, or reading them in my memory, verses 1 to 8, this week. And I've read them this week. I've read them from memory this week, but I've also heard them this week, one by one, day by day, trying to be conscious, because not only back to basics. It actually started, I think, from the London program, and then we thought, okay, why not everybody will read verses 1 to 8 each day this week of Upadesh Amrita, because it's good for us. Anyway, thank you for that quote, Seva Rupa Devi. Can we come?
And another one, Maharaj, another one, the last one from Paramananda Prabhu is in the chat.
Is it indeed? If you say so, not in my chat, maybe your chat.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Let me make it public so you can read it. Sorry.
Maybe he wants it anonymous. So this one's contributed anonymously by Paramananda.
Anonymously by Paramananda Prabhu.
So Paramananda, please read. You read this one.
Maharaj, is the verse that
Your
Paramananda Prabhu, sorry to
Guru
interrupt.
Maharaj's question, and it took him 6 months of consideration. It's a famous story when Guru Maharaj asked Saraswati Thakur how to. Oh.
No, we're good now. Your audio's come back. You were very broken for a few seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Prabhu.
Okay, so it's okay now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's the verse that Saraswati Thakur chose to answer Guru Maharaj's question, and it took him 6 months to consider that. And it's a famous story that Guru Maharaj tells. The question was about how to see a Vaishnava, how to act. I'm still okay, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Maharaj?
Yes.
Okay, when you see that Vaishnava is committing some offense or some abominable act, actually. So Saraswati Thakur taught for 6 months in Guru Maharaj's South India, and then he's reading Bhagavatam and he came upon this verse, and then he quoted this verse and he said, "Sridhar Maharaj, here is your answer." And then Guru Maharaj said, at that time, I forgot what I have, what kind of answer my Guru Maharaj is giving. Then he remembered that question. So Swapadamula Bhajata Priyasya Taktanya Bhavasya Hari Paresha Vikarmayat Katpachitam Kathanchi Dhunoti Sarvam Hridi Sannivishtam. So what's the proper translation of that? Just let me see, just a second. The Lord is so kind, and actually there are many interpretations of the translation, but here is one by Prabhupada. The Lord is so kind to the devotee who is fully surrendered to his lotus feet, that even though the devotee sometimes falls into entanglement of vikarma acts. Vikarma means mistakes. I mean, mistakes, like extremely bad mistakes. It can also happen due to our past karma. Entanglement of the karma acts against the Vedic directions or against the Vaishnava principles. The Lord at once rectifies such mistakes from within his heart. This is because the devotees are very dear to the Lord. So that was the answer of Saraswati Thakur, and really gives a proper perspective.
But can you please give us the question again?
Oh, Guru Maharaj asked Saraswati Thakur, he observed some devotee committing some sinful activity. So he approached, and being a very just person, I mean, Guru Maharaj basically grew up in that kind of family. And he was also, to some extent, attracted to Ramachandra, the justice, the perfect following of Dharma, perfect following of principles. So he couldn't digest it at that moment. So he had to ask Saraswati Thakur, how should I react? How should I see this devotee? That was the question. But Saraswati Thakur did not answer him at that moment. Only after 6 months coming upon this verse, he said, here is your answer, Sridhar Maharaj.
Thank you.
Right. The Lord extending his hand down to this world in so many ways. Jivana, where's Jivana? Did Jivana go? Oh, Jivana, come back. Oh, she's here. You're Jivana. So would you like to, now we've come round in a circle, back to you. You started, now I think that perhaps you may have something to add after hearing the input from the different devotees. So please open your mic, phone.
Wow, that was just so much that came back from that. It will take me a couple of lifetimes to digest it, but to speak of a few minutes. But I think that there's never that you can hear too much about these subject matters, because every time you hear it, you hear something else. And I remember Srila Prabhupada telling us many years ago that he said, you have to hear for a very long time. That's the way he put it. So just hearing these things is really, really wonderful for us. And that should encourage us also to really chant the holy name, because sometimes you might hear so many things and like, how am I ever going to be free from these problems and these impediments? Like Paramananda was saying, it's not just swimming in the ocean of faults, really. So obviously you're going to be full of so many faults. But going back to the original, what we were talking about originally from that Gurudev video, that he says how the Harinam will clean the offenses and also give us the feeling in our heart how to gradually eliminate and get rid of offenses we may be knowingly or unknowingly committing.
And we have a big example in that light too of Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit. In the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Devananda Pandit, he did wrong to Srivas Thakur, and very wrong, kicked him out of his own Bhagavatam class, and Devananda's Bhagavatam class. And then Srivas Thakur, he was kind of overwhelmed with ecstasy, and he ousted him, and he was explaining Bhagavatam wrong, but that is one thing, that he's explaining it wrong, but that he kicked out Srivas Thakur, that was not a good plan. But that is Vaishnava Aparad, you can say, a little clear. And then the grand Sankirtan movement of Mahaprabhu then started off there in Navadip, but then spread all over India. And when Mahaprabhu came back, then everybody was hankering for forgiveness from Mahaprabhu for offenses that they'd made, because after all, many of them had been offensive to Mahaprabhu, which is externally why he left from Navadvip. And Mahaprabhu, he granted forgiveness to everybody, and everyone's chanting the holy name. They're all ecstatic, and they're seeing Mahaprabhu's influence through the holy name, etc. And then Devananda Pandit, he also wants to get forgiveness, and Mahaprabhu said, no, I cannot forgive you. Only you have to, you made Vaishnava aparad. It wasn't offense to me. You must go to Srivas Pandit. If he forgives you, then I will give my mercy, but without first getting that forgiveness from the Vaishnava. So you see, in Devananda Pandit's kind of hard heart, you can say, then that was also influenced by seeing the holy name, everyone's chanting so ecstatically, but I'm left out, please forgive me. No. But it brought in his mind that I must go to the Vaishnava. But this way, it came directly from the lotus mouth of Mahaprabhu. But that hankering came in him. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I just wanted to add that we're not just swimming in the ocean of faults, which is obvious. But for those who have faith, we also have another ocean of Krishna Prema. And this is why the saints are pointing it out. A beautiful verse by Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, Avatirne Gaura Chandre Vistirne Prema Sagare. Mahaprabhu brought the whole ocean of Krishna Prema. Suprakashita Ratnage Yudina Dina Evasa. So he's saying, dive deep, collect the gems from there. If you don't, you're the poorest of the poor. You will remain here as the poorest of the poor in the ocean of faults. So if you have just a tiny drop of faith, you have access to the other ocean, and that is our good fortune, which we should, think sometime about. Hopefully, always 25 hours, Maharaj, and 8 days. Is that correct?
Minimum.
There you go. Yes.
And now we can add also 25 hours, 8 days a week, and we can add this your verse maybe in your composition. We must chant Hare Krishna all the time, including while we're chanting Hare Krishna. Eating, sleeping, whatever we're doing, and while we're chanting Hare Krishna, we must chant Hare Krishna. And conscious of the 10 offenses. Hare Krishna. And we would like, because Brajamohini Didis could come to Austin, Texas, to like a very promising, it seems, opportunity, a promising place, facilities all there, excellent kind of environment, open environment for preaching Krishna consciousness, good reaction from people. So we just like to hear from Brajamohini Didi after returning here to Austin in Texas for a devotional news update.
All right, I'm getting the devotional news update from you all. Very pertinent subject matters. Yeah, I just got back. So things are a little quiet right now, but Vishaka Didi will be arriving in a couple days. She arrives on Saturday, so that's exciting. And we're hoping to kind of get things going a little bit again, have some people out and some programs. And yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. Springtime here, it's already getting kind of warm, some days are a little hot, but it's not quite boiling hot yet, but that'll be coming in a month or two. But happy to be here with you all and see you, Maharaj.
And you are in the Kirtan hall right now, is that correct?
So this is what we call the big house, which is not the Kirtan hall. The Kirtan hall is in the other house, but we do Kirtan in here also. We have a big living room, and so yeah, when Vishaka comes, we've had sometimes we start in here and have a little kind of meet and greet and kirtan, and then we'll go over to the other side to the sort of more official temple room. We're just so fortunate. We have some nice spaces here to gather together. So
Big space. Yes.
yeah, pretty big space. Yeah. And outside, very big space. We have 10 acres, so there's lots of space. Actually, last time when she was here, I guess that was maybe a month and a half ago. Now I can't remember. But we took a walk. We did a little Harinam on the property, which was super fun. And we walked and chanted down the hill and then back up, and was super nice. So I hope we can do that again. We had about maybe, I think there was like 10 or 12 guests, really super happy, really nice day. And very, everyone who comes out here is really happy, and almost everybody's super new, except for people that, you know, are coming back, but still they're very new to everything, but really getting something from the chanting and from Vishaka Deities Association. So it's been really enlivening. So looking forward to more of that.
Okay, Jai. And who else is coming? Have you got a group coming from anywhere? Salt Lake City, California?
Oh, let's see. Not at the moment, not planned. Actually, Shama Mohini and her father Jayanta Krishna were just here for a little visit, and they just left today. So we were kind of just here for a few days with them. Don't have any plans at the moment, but I'm sort of hoping maybe we can steal Divi Shakti, or maybe we can for a little visit, or some other devotees can come out, and that always makes it super nice. Dinarti Haro Prabhu, he lives in Colorado, and he came a few times now, so he's also really great to have. So he's always pretty willing to come. So maybe we'll do that. And we heard that Veera Chandra Prabhu maybe was coming, so that's who we're really hoping will come soon. I don't know if there's any new news on that, but we're always hearing that maybe he's coming soon. So
well, Veera Chandra, and just so the others know, Veera Chandra, he's just managed to come out from Ukraine, and because his wife is Ukrainian, he was living and working there, and basically lost about everything except his car, which he's got a nice car, which he got parked right outside here. He drove from Ukraine, got across the border and came down. He's got a nice car, but except for his car, then, you know, suddenly they're completely uprooted from the life they knew. And so he may well, and I did hear him discussing about going to Austin, Texas, but I did hear that's in a list of several other places. So he's
oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear.
Put in a good word for us, Maharaj. Come on, we need.
I already have. I really already have, and I can put in another good word, because you know that I really have like very positive feeling for Austin. I mean, why not? It's just such an opportunity, and everything has come automatically. I know it's come by sacrifice of Krishna and others. I mean, really sacrifice, but it has come. And now when Krishna sends a facility, then we can give a bigger tick mark to say, let's put some extra energy to try to make that successful. And so many places, the devotees are enthusiastic, but they're very limited for how they can come together and chant. Because it's not always easy to have a facility.
Yeah.
And I mean, talking of Ukraine too, you see, when they're in Ukraine, okay, they've got Govinda land, but when you're in the city to chant Hare Krishna at 6 o'clock in the morning, it, for some strange reason, the neighbors get disturbed. It's not India. And we have Varun here, and we were just mentioning last night, Varun is your Varun, and you know him. He's been serving in Salt Lake City in California. I think he was there for some time in Austin, Texas. And he was in India, and he's now here. So he's like seeing the world from the devotional angle. But him coming here reminded us when he comes from India that what we're doing is normal. It is not abnormal. and how when you're in Govardhan, you're in Vrindavan, you're in Jaipur, these places like this, Navadip, then it's completely normal to have dhoti, kotar, tilak, to go, hundreds of people going for Mangalati, all these things. It is the proper thing to do. And of course, in Krishna's land, everybody, 100%, everybody is Krishna conscious. So, you know, we're reminded that what we're doing, we should be doing it. So anyhow, this facility has come where you can have a normal life of loudly chanting Hare Krishna morning and evening, and, you know, being devotees. You've got that opportunity right there in Austin, and you've got a whole generation, if not a generation and a half. All those students there, it's a student place and a modern tech place, apparently. So you've got all these 20 to 30-year-olds.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true. There's no lacking of souls.
Yeah, and smart.
Lacking of
young-
enthusiasm and sincerity on my part to go out there and meet them.
Hare Krishna, now coming to the humility of the Vaishnava. Any last quick word from, we've only kind of touched, we've just got started, but any last short word from anybody, contribution, or a very brief question, because we are just over time actually.
Yes,
Maharaj.
Maharaj. Okay.
I
Go
don't know
ahead,
who
go
the
ahead.
guest-
Go ahead, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Dear Maharaj, I wanted to ask a question, and the question is, how can we practice Krishna consciousness and not be attracted to the Aishwarya Bhav in the sense of, you know, Krishna's opulence, but be attracted to Krishna's sweetness and the sweetness and the service of Krishna. I feel like, you know, as we move towards Krishna consciousness, this can sometimes be an obstacle.
Okay. So one thing, just briefly, because we do need to be brief today, but Krishna, he has all opulence and wonder. He sits on a golden throne, you know, bedecked with jewels in wonderful groves, which are, each grove is a different color due to the jewels which are there. I mean, so many wonderful descriptions of Krishna in Vrindavan, in Govardhan, Radha Kund, Shyama Kund, these highest places. There are wonderful descriptions which we worship, we keep on our head, we don't go inside too much. But the point being, or the point I'm trying to explain, is Krishna does have all kind of opulence, but his greatest opulence is his affection and sweetness and all these things. And so then what we consider the opulence of the gems and the jewels and the ornaments and all these other kind of evident opulences, they become dim in comparison to Krishna's affectionate opulence. And it is that affection that we are hearing about all the time. It's not that every day we're meditating on the throne and the opulences which manifest when there is that service for them to manifest. They manifest in Vrindavan. But what are we hearing about every day is Krishna's sweetness and beauty, affection and charm. And that is by hearing, by remembering, by begging for that gracious, affectionate, charming, extended hand from the upper world to here, means from Krishna to here. By cultivating this mood, then the opulent side, we will be very joyful to know that opulence is there, but it is secondary, or whatever the word for secondary, thirdly, fourthly, fifthly, down the list of what we are appreciating in Krishna. And so we are worshipping Krishna. and those in Vaikuntha, where Narayan is the self-evident, clear, he's the master, the Lord, he's full of all opulences like this, then that side, that emphasis is not the main emphasis within the Krishna conception. And Krishna happens to be the origin of Narayan. He's the origin of Brahma, origin of the quadruple expansions, then origin of the Narayan. So Narayan is the Lord himself, but he's not the original Lord in his fullest manifestation. And this has been explained in different ways, and especially throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll get very clear understanding of this through Mahaprabhu's teachings in various places, to the Ramananda, in the Ramananda Samvad in Kovu, but also when he's in Gopal Bhatta's house. Gopal Bhatta's father's name was Venkata Bhatta. And in Venkata Bhatta's house, he was a pure devotee of Narayan, Venkata Bhatta. But then gradually he understood, oh, Narayan's origin is Krishna, not that Krishna is coming from Narayan. So we are fortunate that we've come straight to the Krishna conception as given by Mahaprabhu. And now we'll try to cultivate that as Mahaprabhu has given us to cultivate. We are worshippers of that sweet land, the sweet Krishna in his sweet land. So this is my short answer, and still some indication of trying to fulfill the answer, not just to make it like very brief, but really this is the grace of the, again, extended hand of the Lord coming down through Guru and Gauranga. All right, thank you very much for your question, and thank you to each of you for being with us, devotees who've joined us along the way. And here we are, we're here to serve, we're here to be with each other. And
Maharaj, a special dandavats from Jagamohini Didi.
Yes, Jagamohini Didi, and all on Facebook. Please excuse, I didn't turn on my Facebook today.
Madhumati, Devidasi in Soquel, Hariananda Das in Colombia, Gourangi Didi in Ecuador, and a special dandavats from Sulakshana Devidasi.
To each of you and to anybody else who we don't know are with us, or those who are going to be seeing later on, my obeisances and my special dandavats to each of those that you mentioned, and to all of you here on the Zoom that I'm seeing. And I need to put a reminder, well, I have a reminder, but still I didn't do it, to turn on my Facebook. It's not even on, it's completely black. Oh dear. So please excuse me that I missed noticing that. All right, and to Jason, who's joined us from Michigan, welcome. I don't know how much you can understand of what we're discussing, but we're with good people discussing good things. Jai Shila Gurudev, Om Vishnupad, Shila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shila Guru Maharaj, Om Vishnupad, Shila Bhakti Rokhok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shila Prabhupada, Shila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And Jai, the next in the Parampara means Bhagavan Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhagava Ki Jai. 6 Goswamis Ki Jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. And our deities in Navadip, Guru Maharaj's deities in Navadip. Saparika Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. The Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda, the unlimited devotees Ki Jai. All the assembled Vaishnavas Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. My Dandavat Pranam to you all. Wishing you a successful Seva week until we meet again. Oh, not even a week. Few days until we meet again after 3 days.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat dear devotees. Nadia Priya Devi Rasi. Happily. Radha Sundari. Yes. The others who joined us. Ekadashi joined us also. Yes. Paramanandru, you speaking?
I'm saying Dandavat Maharaj.
Acha. And I just want to say, even though we're over time, there's Paramanandru in Gurudev's room, Gurudev's actual room in Bangkok. And you can see his bed. And here I am in Gurudev's actual room in Italy. So Gurudev has his rooms around the world, and we're very happy to be there in his room.
Let's show something, Maharaj. I did send you the photographs, but I think Chinmoy will be very happy to see. Because when we purchased the property, Srila Govinda Maharaj, first thing he asked, what trees you have on the property? I said, Gurudev, none. It's empty plot. He said, plant mango. So I planted 2 mango trees. And every year he would come and say, did any fruit come? I said, no, Gurudev, no. So Gurudev actually haven't seen the fruits till when Madhusudan Maharaj, that year when Maharaj took sannyas, he came to Bangkok for his preaching. And then that was the first harvest, and we actually harvested together, and that was unbelievably sweet, beautiful, big mangoes. And it happening every year since. And here is only a tiny bit that's actually left over from Gurudev trees. And I'm not exaggerating. I've been living in this country for more than 20 years. I like mangoes. I brought suitcases of mangoes to Govinda Maharaj. I tasted literally thousands of mangoes. These are the sweetest, conformed even by regular neighbors, because they do fall on neighbors' property and they pick them up. And I say, what kind of mango is that you're having? And they're Thai people, grown up here, eating mangoes all their lives. So here you go. And that's just the leftovers. And of course, Srila Govinda Maharaj is a mango connoisseur, as you know. So happily offering.
Jai. Oh, now you're torturing us, Paramananda Prabhu. All
Well,
of
I
us
will
living...
order some extra mangoes on behalf of you all. I promise that.
Okay, you have extra mangoes on behalf of each of us. That's wonderful. And probably all of us are living, not all of us, no, we've got Bhagavan Prabhu, he's in a mango country, Venezuela, but in general, I think we're all living in non-mango places. Oh, Florida, maybe mangoes also. But not like Gurudev's mango trees. We have to say,
I have to support the prestige, Maharaj.
Yeah. All right. Jai Srila Gurudev, Jai Srila Gurudev's continuing leela in this world. And really, he does have a continuing leela in this world. It is true. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you also. Hare Krishna.